Non-Stop Rock Talk with Tyson Briden.
Welcome to Non-Stop Rock Talk. I'm your host, Tyson Briden. Today's show, I'm very happy to welcome from Trucker Diablo, singer, guitarist Tom Harte. Tom, welcome. How's it going?
It's going good. It's Friday night. I'm relaxing with a beer, talking to your good self.
Awesome.
So it's all good.
Right, because are you in Belfast?
No, it's outside. It's roughly the middle of Northern Ireland, so roughly about 45 minutes from Belfast or so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's 2:00 here, so what is 7 there?
Yeah, just gone 7. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So, as we start, the latest release from Trucker Diablo is entitled "Social Hand Grenade." It was released in 2024 on Big Unit Records, which I laughed because I thought that was a great record. Great name for a record label.
Yeah, it's actually the name of the studio. This is our studio. We call it Big Unit Records.
Right.
Because it's a big log cabin at the back of my property.
Right.
So it's a big unit. That's where it came from.
Ah, okay. I mean, I still laughed about it because I had to ask because I'm like, okay, there's got to be a meaning behind that, and some comedy as well. So
yeah.
So the band has been putting out music since 2012, but the band started before that, I believe. Possibly kind of give me a quick rundown on Trucker Diablo, where, when, how, all those things that pertain to the band.
Yeah. Well, we've all known each other for years. As I said, Terry, the drummer in Trucker Diablo, was in my previous band, so he's been with me since then. And then Simon, the guitar player, I phoned him, Jesus, feels like forever ago, probably 2008, and just said, look, I'm putting something together. If you're interested, let's do it. So we started putting demos together, and sort of 2008, 2009, 2010. And then we sort of got a collection of demos, which was really the first album. But our first single actually from that album, Drink, Beer, Destroy, which is kind of like the big one. Everyone knows that. It's kind of like our Ace of Spades in a way.
Yeah.
That sort of, once we released that sort of propelled us onto bigger things. So from there, that song took us to Download Festival in UK, which is one of the biggest ones. And then a few years later, we supported the Foo Fighters back here in Ireland. And then things just seemed to go on an upward trajectory from then until it didn't. We took a break for maybe 6 months to a year or so. Our bass player at the time, who's actually he's with my partner's sister, so we're still all friends. He left the band, and we got a new guy in about 10 years ago, Jim. So since then, we've really just been releasing albums and plugging away and just trying to play UK, Europe as much as we can, and just keep the big truck rolling, as I say.
Cool.
That's pretty much up to date.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Now the name Trucker Diablo.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the album covers coincide with that, but how did you guys come up with that name?
Well, I came up with that. Actually, I always thought Trucker was a good name for a band, just Trucker on its own. And Simon, our guitar player, was in another band, and he had asked me to do some artwork and stuff for him for another band that he was in, and he always loved sort of Peterbilt trucks, and we always loved muscle cars and that type of thing. So when it was sort of time to come up with a name, when I phoned him, I actually said, look, I actually have a name, see what you think. So it was Trucker, then Diablo. We wanted that sort of bit of an edge on it.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was like a trucker handle, like Diablo, Trucker Diablo on the road, as if they're using the CB across the thing. So it was kind of like that. And like, the big truck sort of moving across the country was kind of like our ethos to get on the road and sort of keep things moving.
I love it. I mean, it's funny because a couple things. My dad and my grandfather were both truck drivers, so I grew up with trucks in my life, and I grew up I was born in the 70s and into the 80s, and I was always fascinated as a kid with those big trucks with the chrome and so seeing the last album, with that
Yeah.
album cover on it, which I thought was so cool because that just reminds me of that vision. And then there was Smokey and the Bandit as a kid, and that whole thing. So it immediately appealed to me. And the funny part about it is that I had just heard about the band recently. My wife came home from the gym one day, and she said this band came up on my, you know how like Spotify, they'll make a playlist for you, and she's like, you got to check this band out. And I was like, how? You know, I had no idea. So immediately I was drawn to it, and I started digging into the music, and I was like, I really, really dig this. This is awesome. And that's when I reached out and wanted to have you on the show because, I mean, for my show, this style of music is what I'm geared towards. So it was right up my alley, and then the whole the trucker thing. So that's kind of the story of how I found out about you guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool. It's such a coincidence that your wife heard us in the gym. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's over in Canada too, which is great. So
yeah,
but I mean, those streaming sites, as much as, you know, sometimes I mean, I like physical product, but sometimes that's good because that's how you find new bands that you've never heard about. I mean, that's happened a few times to me, right? And I was like, oh, I really like this band. And North America is a little bit odd because rock music and hard rock doesn't get a lot of radio play unless it's Metallica from 30 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But you guys have that thing where, or do you still have it, where the radio stations have to play a 50% Canadian artist? Is that right?
Yes, they do. But the unfortunate thing is that radio is so different now. I don't know what it's like in Ireland, but in North America and Canada especially, only a certain, like, they're owned by all the same companies.
Right. Yeah. So pretty much the same.
Yeah. So it's become a thing where you do get new music, but not very much. I have a friend, I met a guy recently who worked at one of our radio stations, and he said they're actually programming. He was a program director who no longer is a program director, who doesn't program a single thing. It's all done by somebody in Australia.
Right. Crazy.
Right. So that's very unfortunate. I don't know why that is. Because growing up, radio was so important, right?
Yeah. And that's it. You know, these days it's, you know, we would never. People do, you know, put PR campaigns and stuff together to try and get in radio, which we have done for the last album, but I don't think it's really a priority now. It's not really like, oh, let's put it together. Unless we were trying to break a different territory, we would maybe approach a PR company, maybe in the likes of Germany, say, for example, and try and do something there because not that many people know us in Germany. But yeah, things have changed so much, like you said. But just got to keep the foot to the floor and keep the truck going. That's all we got to do.
Exactly, and hopefully people that listen to my show will listen to you guys. So, which is a good avenue, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, getting to the album, Social Hand Grenade. As I said, my vinyl copy came in the mail from you today, which I was excited about. And I mean, looking at the album cover, I was as I was actually listening to it on the streaming site on the way home I was at my my normal job before I came home to do the interview. Yeah. Now, Social Hand Grenade, which is I mean, the cover is amazing. It's a skull which is more or less a grenade. Is there a meaning behind a social hand grenade?
Yeah, well, I think you probably know yourself. It's just hard to ignore so much stuff that goes on social media, and sometimes it's just so baffling to me why people sort of put their lives on social media in a way and react so easily to things that really are inconsequential. So it was really just sort of like a social commentary on people reacting to things that really aren't as serious as they think, and how quick people sort of jump to those conclusions, so quick, just for likes and whatever. So it was kind of, it was like, they're throwing a bomb in social media when there doesn't actually need to be, they take it too seriously. So it was just like social commentary about that. And then we tend to not have album titles until all the songs are done. And then we sort of have a chat about, the meanings of each song. And if sort of there's a common topic in all the songs, then it sort of almost formulates itself in a way. So we thought it was quite cool.
Yeah,
quite different. You wouldn't really hear that kind of term.
No.
I suppose it's the same as Trucker Diablo. It's when we started the band, it was quite unique to Ireland. You wouldn't really have heard that kind of band name, and actually everyone for years thought we were American for some reason, because we probably have an American sound. But they were like, "What part of America are you from?" And we're like, "Ireland."
Well, I mean, the truck that is on the cover of the last album, you wouldn't necessarily, you probably wouldn't see a truck like that in Ireland, right?
No, you'd only see a truck like that in like a traveling circus. You wouldn't see it on the roads like a Peterbilt. You wouldn't see a Peterbilt or anything like that on the roads.
Right. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I guess maybe that's where that might come from as well.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to that social hand grenade, for me, I was kind of thinking about that, and I was just thinking in general as your phone, because everything social is on your phone and it's in your hand. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So
and when something blows up, it blows up sort of socially.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good conversation piece as an album title.
Absolutely.
Now, one more question about that. The Roman numeral numbers, like it looks like a clock. Was there a reason for that as well?
Just a ticking time bomb, really. It's just a matter of time before it blows. That was the reason. And then the lightning for the sake of it, for rock and roll.
Yeah. No. And you know what? The colored vinyl, the yellow looks amazing.
It's cool. Yeah. We were thinking about because we have there's two different versions of the artwork.
Yes.
There's on the CD it's like turquoise and pink, and we were looking to maybe do a turquoise vinyl as well, but that'd be cool. But we'll try and sell all these yellow ones first.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say, I mean, production-wise and sonically, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I put it on.
Yeah, that's kudos to our producer that did it. We normally have a recording studio here, but it's just like a pre-production studio. It's not a professional studio, so we normally do all pre-production here and get everything right, and then we sort of go to a proper studio and get it done. So, but you did a great job.
Yeah, my sub was kicking when I put it on. Yeah, the bottom end was awesome. I was like, okay, this sounds killer, because sometimes, especially with new pressings, you put them on and sometimes you're disappointed because it's not done the way that you're thinking it, the expectation of what you have, and this is done very well.
Oh yeah, no, it has to have loads of beef. There has to be loads of beef in it.
Yeah, exactly. Some good bottom end and crunchy guitars too, right?
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
yeah, and I mean, even drum wise, the drums sound phenomenal too.
Yeah, it has a great big live room up there that we used, and it's great for drums.
Right. So, I mean, as I mentioned, since 2012, you released 6 albums. Does it get harder each album to create music? Do you ever have a moment where you guys are like, oh man, what are we going to come up with? Or is it so natural that there's not an issue there?
It's a good question, because in the early days, because the band was on the rise in the early days, you almost had a sort of bit of a pressure on you, because we'd a couple of record companies, and you were pressure to sort of try and follow up to the first album, especially into the second and third, and you're sort of trying to write songs. Whereas now, honestly, I don't really try to write at all. It's just, if I'm playing guitar, I'll just pick up a guitar, and then if I feel something, then I'll just sort of work that, and that's really how I write songs these days. And there's normally, you always worry, are they ever going to be as good as the last album? But like I've written probably about 7 new ones, which is going to be on the next album,
Yeah.
and we feel they're better and heavier again. So they always come at the right time. It's kind of weird, you sort of almost waiting for them to come. You just know there's good songs there. So if I sit down and try and write a song and it doesn't work, I'll just stop and just forget about it and just wait. So it's more, I don't know. I think once you have a formula in the band, a formula of how you write songs, you just wait for those to sort of happen, and they always do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was listening to, as I said, I was listening to the album earlier. Stop the Bleed.
Yeah.
The guitar, is the guitar tuned differently in that song, or is it tuned down lower?
Yeah, it's down tuned. So we're standard D, so it's drop C.
Drop C.
It would be. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds killer. It's got a nice feel to it.
Yeah, big groove.
Yeah, it makes it really groove. Now, speaking of some of the other songs, Kill the Lights. I love, it's quick, it's fast.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're singing to someone, I think, and every time is spoken throughout. A lot of the lyric has every time in it. What can you say about that song lyrically?
It was not that I've ever personally dealt with depression or anything like that, or mental health. Touch wood, I've always been able to resolve things if I've any problems. But it's more like me having a commentary on how I feel people deal with depression. And some people want to turn off the lights, kill the lights. They want to turn it, and it's so easy to them. Whereas sort of, there's other people trying to sort of keep you away from turning off the lights. So that's really what it's about. It's sort of the struggle between a person, falling into depression and not falling into depression. It's as easy just as turning out the lights, so kill the lights. Just thought was, an easier way because of the sort of pent up anxiety or depression. It's easy to do that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Now, before we talk about a couple more of the songs, I wanted to ask, in terms of your influences, what influenced you to sing, to play guitar, and maybe you have influences now that are different than when you were younger?
Yeah, no, definitely. When I was a kid, I was a grunge kid, so I grew up in the 90s, so I was influenced by the grunge era, like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, all those bands. But Metallica, my brother, in the previous band that I was in, my brother was in it, and I didn't sing, he sang, so I did backing vocals. And Metallica was always there, but we shared a room when we grew up, so he was like playing Iron Maiden, Halloween, all those early sort of 80s thrash bands, Sepultura, loads of bands. So I was definitely influenced by them, but I loved the grunge stuff, so I was really sort of song orientated. So once that other band sort of finished, I took a break for a couple of years, and then we started Trucker. And it was actually Simon was the original singer, the guitar player.
Okay.
And I was just doing backing vocals, but because I was writing most of the songs, and I was coming up with the lyric ideas and the sort of melodies, my voice was sort of higher, and he was like, "Dude, I can't sing those. You're gonna have to take over vocals because I can't do this." So that's really how it happened. So we switched pretty much after the first album, and then I started to sort of do it full time, and you always just sort of mess around. You never think you're a singer, per se. You're just doing the best you can, and it's almost like the songs mold into your voice because that's how you write them. You're not trying to sing in a certain way. It's almost like you're, trying to mold your voice around the music that you're creating. So as the years went on, I've tried to sort of really focus on and be a better singer, and not just go all foot to the floor. Just try and write different songs that are maybe more emotional, or and then some are they're just super heavy hitting. So I think now that I'm in my mid-40s, I'm trying to just be more conscious about my voice because a few years I'm going to be 50, and you can't do it forever, so I have to take care of my voice.
I'm there now, so
yeah.
I mean, and I'm a musician myself as well. So and
yeah, no, I see the guitars.
Yeah,
so is that Gibson Gold Top?
Yes, yeah, and then
cool.
that's a Jackson.
Nice. Jackson.
Yeah, you know what? I bought that because more or less I liked the color of it, and I don't.
Yeah,
It plays nice. Like it's got a nice fast neck on it, but I don't use it a whole lot. I don't gig with it very often.
Yeah.
I have a couple
different neck than the Gibson.
Oh,
bit wider than the Gibson, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit, and as
Slimmer.
you note, there's no fret dots on it either. But there's just those little things on it, on the neck.
Cool.
I mean, I have another Jackson that I use on a regular basis, and I have another
Nice.
Les Paul that I use a lot too. That's like a tobacco burst.
Oh yeah, tobacco burst. Nice.
Yeah, so that one I use quite a bit, and I have a modded telly that I use as well. That's like a Ritchie Kotzen Telecaster that has a really nice DiMarzio pickup in it, and I use that on occasion. It's got a huge fat neck on it. I mean, I've got a bunch of guitars, and I play on a regular basis, so that Les Paul probably sits on the wall more than it should, to be honest with you. Yeah. But it looks good, and I do pick it up and play it on occasion. But
nice.
I'm sure you know yourself. You probably have multiple guitars as well, and
I do. I have a few behind me. You can probably see over the shoulder.
Yeah.
So, two V. That white V is sort of my main V, and then I have a red V in the corner there as well. I have a PRS, which is kind of like my backup guitar on tour. I've had a few Gibsons. You know, I don't know. I just couldn't get on with it. I don't know what it was, because we play a lot of Japanese guitars, and I have Orville, Orville by Gibson, which is like the Japanese brand.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. Well, Gibson, Mr. Gibson, his first name was Orville.
Okay.
So he got the Japanese market to set up, a Japanese factory and create Orvilles by Gibson. So there were Gibson only sold in Japan as Orville. So I have a tobacco burst like yours, just sitting up there. It's an Orville, and they're great guitars. They're amazing guitars. So we use those. But I think Simon has so many guitars. I think between us we must have 40 guitars.
There's
crazy. So many guitars.
Yeah.
But the PRS I got a few years ago, and it's just incredible. I just love it. And the V, the Tokay V, it's amazing as well.
What do you use for gear?
For gear, geez, we've used so much stuff. We've been going back and forth with digital setups this past sort of year or so. But I use all Marshalls now.
Okay.
Simon has went from Hughes and Kettner to Marshalls. He's using Marshalls now.
Okay.
But I was using the Line 6 Pod Go floor unit. But recently I've sort of gone back to my original, just sort of Boss pedal setup. But Simon's switched over to the Nano Cortex at the moment, and it just sounds incredible.
Yeah.
It's like, for such a small unit, it just sounds so big and powerful. So he's just like an on-off guy, just a clean crunch guy, whereas I would sort of go through some more effects. So we just try and keep it as simple as possible, but as sort of effective as possible.
Yeah. I switched from Marshall to H&K, so I can totally relate to that. I might go back to Marshall one day. I mean, I just bought the floor model of my head. So and I've just been running that through into my cabinet. And then
cool.
I mean, it's amazing how the technology, and I'm going to admit, as I get older, I don't want to carry a big cabinet anymore, because I have to do everything on my own, right?
Yeah. No, we agree. Like, we used Orange for a good maybe 6-7 years. We used Orange, but they're so heavy.
Yeah.
The heads are just like lifting concrete. So the sound, there's something about the Orange sound, they're very bass heavy, and we didn't really get on with them too much. So we went from sort of the rocker verb heads, which is the big heads, to the lunchbox heads, which is the Twin Terror or whatever they are. But they just didn't have the same weight behind them. And I always used the Marshalls, always had that as a backup. But the setup that we got now, with sort of the digital setup plus the sort of with the amps, it just sounds so big and heavy. We're just like, this is a no-brainer. Let's just keep these. And they're light. The heads are so light. So it's great.
And that's just it, right? The technology has become such a... It's like when you see someone roll in a big Marshall cabinet and a big head, and you're like, oh, man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's cool. Um,
Yeah.
so I did want to ask about Tail End of a Hurricane, which was the previous album. Again, I said it was visually pleasing to the eye. And I think that song more or less is a little bit more the album cover, and the song itself is a little bit self-explanatory. Is that cover more or less that is the truck coming out of the hurricane? Is that kind of what the premise of that cover is?
Yeah, out of COVID, really. So because it was written during COVID and then coming out, so we were coming out of the hurricane. So that album was sort of written, whenever we could get into the studio, that album was written, and I don't think we were ever there together at any point. Maybe once we were there together when we wrote those songs. It was sort of, Terry going in to do the drums, me going in to do guitars, doing some vocals, but it was bits and pieces, over maybe a year and a half.
Right.
So we were actually coming back from a show, and our manager had just mentioned coming out of COVID was like a tail end of a hurricane, and we were like, tail end of a hurricane. There you go. That's it.
That's awesome. I mean, even listening to the songs and listening to the lyrics, there seems to be a kind of a trend where it's almost metaphoric in some of the stuff, where you're saying one thing, but you actually might mean another. Do you find that you do that a lot?
Yeah, like I tend to, in the early days, I probably would have written more personally. But I think after album 4, I always loved sort of, speaking metaphorically and almost having, in a lot of songs, being like a two-way conversation. So there's like someone speaking one way and then someone sort of replying in the song. So I like that. But I try not to sort of get too personal about, different things, because at the end of the day, people are going to interpret whatever way they want. So, I try to be just more. I think it's more about feeling, actually, more how it feels, the energy of the song, especially on the new songs for the next album. There's just so much energy about them, and it's just really about. I think we were always quite, there's a lot of sort of motivational lyrics and quite positive lyrics, and I think we've kept that throughout, but just really want the energy of the lyrics to match the energy of the song.
Yeah, I mean,
like Kill the Lights,
Yeah, I mean, on the latest album, California on the Run, which is a little bit slower, and I think that's becoming one of my favorite tracks. I really like that song, and cool. I love the feel of it, and you can actually imagine yourself in your car driving down the California coast when you listen to it. So the music fits very well with how you portrayed it lyrically. I assume that was probably what you would be going for.
Yeah, and it's really, we love the Eagles, and we always loved the harmonies of the Eagles. And I think it was California on the Run was written in the summer, so it had that real summertime feel. And I had that lyric line, "Do driving at the speed of Motown," which is kind of really sort of encompasses that real laid back driving in a car, just cruising, no worries in the world, in the sunshine. So yeah, it's cool.
I like that. And then we get to Here Come the Vultures. Again, when it comes to lyrics, there's a lot of depth there, and as I was speaking, it seems metaphoric again. What can you say about that one?
Again, like I said at the start, about Social Hand Grenade, that we sort of listened to the songs and sort of seen where the theme of the songs go. And Here Come the Vultures was one of those themes. It's Here Come the Vultures, the digital vultures, going after people online, picking at the flesh of their bones for absolutely no reason, for likes and social media clout. So it was kind of like that, the digital vultures coming out at any given opportunity to sort of take people down.
That's amazing. No, that's, and I mean, that's so realistic. So much the truth, right? There's
absolutely.
So much of that. And that, and for me, that makes my time on social media where I don't really want to be on it, because there's so much crap, right?
There is.
that goes on. Now, here's to heartbreak.
Yeah.
Kind of different than other lyrics. Different, right?
Yeah.
Like a lost love and a heartbreak would be obvious, and it's a very strong song.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
That was really, again, sort of metaphorical. Like, here's the heartbreak. Sometimes having your heart broken makes you stronger, makes you harder to deal with going through it again. So it was really about, going through those heartbreak times, but using those as lessons to really sort of, protect yourself for the future if it happens again and how to deal with it better. Like here's the heartbreak my gasoline. Here's the heartbreak my TNT. Like things blow up, they go on fire, but you read into those lessons and use them to not sort of maybe be so affected by it again.
That's great.
Yeah.
So moving forward, you mentioned that you said 7 tracks written so far for the new album. When do you foresee that might see the light of day?
Actually, I'm not sure. We've been sort of talking recently about the trend. Well, not a trend, but how to do things differently. We are going to do another album, but people tend to sort of release songs quicker because your typical cycle is release a single.
Yeah.
Another month release a single, another month release a single, and then go into sort of your album cycle. So you've got really maybe 3-4 months of an album cycle. But we were like, well, people don't really consume things like that. They sort of consume it on a single basis. So we talked about, maybe releasing more songs over a longer period of time to try and sort of pump it for a longer period. And then if people want the physical at the end, then we'll do a CD as well. But we wanted to, specifically this time round, we're going to record a new song. We're going to do it this year, but we're going to do acoustic versions of songs from Social Hand Grenade and release them alongside the new single, just so there's just a bit more.
Yeah.
Because I think some of those songs from Social Hand Grenade would sort of lend themselves to acoustic treatment. So that's what we want to do. So I think we're gonna record. We're hopefully trying to get in November, December time to record, and then maybe release it next year at some point, sort of early next year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to ask about the previous albums.
Yeah.
Now this one is Big Unit Records is your label.
Yeah.
So
it's us.
Yeah. So this one is an independent, more or less, is it? On like you guys.
Yeah. Well, we have a French record label which we've had since we started the band. They've been releasing our albums, so they would take care of Europe, Japan, Australia, or wherever, and then we would sort of deal with the UK and Canada yourselves in Canada and maybe not America because it's so expensive to send to America now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right.
So we'll just forget about that for a while.
That's right. Which is unfortunate because it's such a big market, right?
Well. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So if I was looking for the other albums, I would go on the website of that label in France then?
Yeah, they should have them. We do have a best of. We released a best of as well, which will give you sort of like 3-4 songs from all of the albums together.
Okay.
So you can have a listen. But yeah, the French album the French label should have all of the albums, which I'll double check and then I can email you if you want.
Okay, sure.
Check them out.
Yeah, I've kind of been skimming through, and I guess this is the only one that's on vinyl. Then is it?
Yeah. Well, no. Actually, Songs of Iron, the second one, we had American record label at the time.
Okay.
They have vinyls. I'm not sure if we have any actually. I think they might be all sold.
Okay.
But you might be able to get one from them on their website. That'll be cheaper for you to get it through them than through us.
Well, I'm going to admit the shipping from the U.S. now, I just ordered something and there was another charge on top of it for something that I had ordered from the States. So I would assume that has to do with these tariffs that are everything coming from there up to here seems to be costing more money. So it's it's a little troublesome. It's a little, because to me, it's, especially when it comes to music, that music should be accessible, right? And you should be able to buy it no matter what country it comes from. But
Exactly.
that's just the times and the way it is. And I mean, I'm not really a political guy, and I'm not going to claim to be or get too much into that. But it's just when it comes to music and buying an album, it's disappointing because your shipping charge to Canada from Ireland was not crazy.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes from other countries too, like, or labels, it'll end up, you'll want to buy it, but the shipping will cost more than the actual album.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, you can stream it, but to me, it's not the same. I want the physical thing, right?
Of course.
So, anyways, I want to thank you for joining me today. It was really a pleasure.
No problem.
And again, thank you
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe on the next album we'll talk again. And just email me if you find any info on that other stuff. Is there anything you'd like to add before I let you go?
I don't think so. Just look out for the new song. We're definitely going to record it this year. And we're going to get into the studio hopefully November to December time and get it out there. We're just four dudes just trying our best. We've all got lives, we've all got jobs, but we just love music. And I don't think if we had the band, it would be as exciting. So it's just good to keep things going and do the best we can.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was cool in one of your photos that I think it was the bass player was wearing a King Diamond t-shirt, which I was like,
yeah. He loves them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some heavy stuff. I don't think I was ever a huge fan, but there's some cool music, right? So.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, I would assume in terms of influences, you guys all have a range of influences, so.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like Terry, our drummer, he would be more into punk stuff and bands like the likes of Helmet, Faith No More, Turnstile, different types of bands, where myself, Simon, would be into like Metallica, and some of the harder rock bands. Simon loves sort of 80s thrash. Jim loves black metal, everything from black metal to, sort of Chris Stapleton, country stuff, Hank Williams. So there's definitely a big mix. And you probably hear it in the music as well. It goes from heavy stuff to sort of different stuff to sort of lighter stuff. So we just we always say if a song's good, it's good. It doesn't matter if it's heavy or not. If it's good enough to go on the album, it's going on the album.
I love that. That's a great theory because you know what? I've listened to a few of the songs and there's other songs of like hard rock bands. And I was like, this would actually cross over to what country is now. Like someone could take this song and make it a country hit. Like there's not a lot of in between anymore.
No.
And I think that's just kind of the way it's gone.
Yeah. It's just the gain dial. Our gain dial is a bit higher probably than some of the other ones.
Exactly. That's right. All right, Tom. Well, thank you very much and enjoy your evening. Enjoy your
cheers,
beer.
bud.
And and take care of yourself and all the best.
You too, bud.
Okay, man.
Yeah, reach out again. Sure, we'll chat again.
Okay. Would love that.
Cheers, bud.
Okay, cheers.
All right, man.
Okay.
Take it easy.
You too.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
So it's you and me divided the way that it's meant to be.